This Real Madrid is a true golden radio of football. Recently, Carlo Ancelotti perfectly described the philosophy. I strongly believe in the creativity of players. When we have possession of the ball, I don't like to impose predetermined schemes on them. I hand over the initiative. Of course, without the ball, we must work as a unique team, showing commitment and maintaining concentration. In this phase, there are tactical elements I insist on, but the main thing is creativity, especially with players who possess immense talent. Ancelotti's football is a deal with the players. In attack, they gave as much freedom as they can handle. In return, during defense, they must strictly follow the instruction. Typically, Ancelotti demands compactness in 4-4-2 formation, which he has repeatedly called the optimal setup for play without the ball. This approach works best when players are good enough to utilize the freedom. Carlo guides them in enhanced compatibility and highlighting standards. He has always extracted the maximum from such teams, but this Real Madrid is absolutely unique. Never before Carlo Ancelotti had such altruistic superstar at his disposal. Until this season, one might have assumed that altruistic superstars was an oxymoron. We won La Liga because our team has no players with big egos, Carlo proudly proclaimed. In April, his son and assistant Davide elaborated on this idea. Our starts are completely devoid of ego. Vinicius, Bellingham, Rodrigo, Valverde, they are all team players. They put the team first. The veterans are not toxic, they are role models. Tony Cruz is a hidden coach. He can explain the plan against City just as well as I can. Our staff finds it easy to manage such veterans, but their influence goes even further. Luka Modric maintains an amazing level for his age. When young players join the team, they see this. They look at Luka, Toni, Carvajal, Vasquez, Nacho, and at their professionalism in training. Mutual compliments in Real Madrid are elevated to a cult. For instance, in the first Champions League semi-final, Cruz and Vinicius created a beautiful goal against Bayern and then gave each other one credit. The credit belongs to Vini, told Cruz. He opened up space and my pass was just good, not a very good, but was just good enough. It's easy to play football with Tony. He gifted me the goal, said Vinicius. Or the dialogue between Vinicius and Jude at the championship parade. I'm very happy and happy to stand here next to the best footballer in the world. No, no, no. Here is the best footballer. It's just next to me, Vinicius responded to Bellingham. An Englishman said, no, 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 no. That's you. There are many such episodes throughout the season. Real Madrid is a friendly family of geniuses. Is such a thing even possible? It seems so. If led by Ancelotti, I think they see me as a kind of kindly grandfather. They call me Don Carlo or Maestro. I must say, I like it very much. The football result is the symbiosis of both elements of Carlo's formula are squared. With the ball, the freedom granted by him is expressed in improvisation, but within the framework of team play. With such freedom, there are no irreplaceable players in the team. And without the ball, absolutely everyone gives their all. This makes the team more reliable and gives the coach maximum options. But is the pass pressing, compactness in the middle block anything? Ancelotti's formula can work even with more egoistical players, but squaring the formula means maximizing the application of options. rather than choosing a convenient one for key figures. Flexibility is this team superpower. Playing in the same style always limits the team, and that is an explanation given by Carlo. In a recent interview with The Times, the Italian detailed that flexibility means to him in a broader context in his team, it manifests within matches during preparation and throughout the season. Ancelotti's style does not exist. There is no signature style because I change. The style depends on the opponent and the players. Against City, we played a low block focusing on defense. We do this 1 2 times a season. Usually we play attacking football, but I saw an opportunity to make the team more competitive that way, so we tried to adopt. Before the season, we lost Benzema, but we got Bellingham. We had two fantastic attacking players like Vinicius and Rodrigo, but they used to play on the wings. We decided to try them as forwards with Bellingham as the number 10 in Diamond 442. Initially, it worked well. Bellingham scored a lot, but in the derby against Atletico, we conceded 3 goals from crosses because the flanks were not covered. After that, we transformed the scheme and asked Bellingham to cover the flank during defense. We adapt without creating discomfort for the players. At the start of the season, Vinicius didn't like playing closer to the center, and we didn't force him. He wasn't showing his best qualities there, so I gave him freedom for organizing defense. I worked a lot with the team tactically. In attack, I give a bit of information, not too much. Vinicius was always great one on one, but I helped him become more effective in the central zone. He's fast and talented, but on the flank he needs to be two to get a shot in the center in the right moment. With the right movement, he can score just with one touch. The players are ready to sacrifice themselves for the team and accept Carlo's guidance, while the Italian adapts to them rarely to the opponents. This is how an Ancelotti team should work, ideally. This season, there are almost no failures, even when no one would blame them. For example, aimed injuries to all central defenders. Yes, that was a problem, and Madrid approached on the end of the season having tried 4 variations of the scheme 4-4-2: Diamond, Classical 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, and 4-3-3. Moreover, the team can switch between them with the same set of players. The show boasts the team's ultimate flexibility in the secondary nature of the concept of formations for Madrid. In this Real Madrid, everything is truly combined. Compactness with the bus and collective work in pressing. Individual skills and chemistry between players. Improvisations and structure. In the final third, freedom reigns. Typically, leading players to the left side, creating overloads, but sometimes this goes to the right. This proceeds by progression. Here, more structure is often in a 2-3-1-4 setup, but this is not an axiom. Field coach Cruz can adjust positions to the opponent and to his own teammates, and that works brilliantly. Power in all phases and versatility during matches is here. Constant switches between models and leading dramatic plots. Incidentally, Carlo was focused to comment on the theory what he switches models with his eyebrow. Do you think it's more effective to yell? No. The more you yell, the less they listen. A more suitable team for embodying Carlos football is unimaginable. It is perfect for us, the viewers. This Madrid is the golden radio of football, and its core is the idea of harmonizing tactics with freedom in the lineups, and the proportions are perfect. Ancelotti summarized that we had a fantastic season because of the players. from the head start, showing their exemplary commitment and dedication. Of course, they have individual talent, but they all know the best quote from Di Stefano. No player can be better than the combination of 11. They certainly can when the combination of 11 is managed by Carlo. Under him, the best players in the world forget that they are the best, enjoying playing for the best of the team. Borussia Dortmund's tremendous achievement this season came without Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland, who exposed the team just 2 years ago. This is something symbolic about this. Borussia is a near top club. They will always be in the top 20 by resources, 12th place according to the Deloitte rating, for example, but they will never be first in Germany or among the first in Europe. In the final, they will play against the top revenue team, a gap of almost double. This inequality is reflected in expectations. The preseason odds for Borussia to win the Champions League were 34. If they win, they will become the most sensational winners of tournaments since Jose Mourinho's Porto. From such a position, there is no guaranteed path to success, but periodic proximity is it is likely. This is an opportunity to choose an image. You're definitely not a big winner, so who are you? You can be a springboard for super talents, an incubator for big ideas, or example, a fierce underdog. In case of Borussia, the image of springboard implies that the team takes the best of the available juniors, like with Ballon d'Or potential, like Bellingham or Holland and probably Sancho in the first stint, embodied this path. This season, it's not the case. Dortmund has shifted towards to the role of underdog. The club no longer has a young superstar, and the advantage of age of the team in the Champions League matches is 28 years in, in average. There is a giant leap compared to the last season where it was ranged around 25. The underdog status implies a bias towards sporting aggression with players of lesser potential. Here, players rejected by wealthier teams feel perfectly. The embodiment of Dortmund's new image is Marcel Sabitzer and Niklas Füllkrug. They occupy the places with the Ballon d'Or contenders were 2 years ago. Both have become heroes on the way to the Champions League final. Füllkrug should generally be depicted in the German dictionary as the illustration of concept of underdog. By 25, he had more matches in the second Bundesliga than in the first. He only made it to the national team at the age of 29 and debuted in the Champions League this season. It seems he wasn't warned that this is a different level of difficulty because he keeps scoring in the same rhythm. Sabitzer reached Bayern, tried out on loan in Manchester, but didn't secure a place in the elite. Now, due to his phenomenal work rate in the center, analysts can figure out Dortmund's scheme, counting 12 players on the field. There is also Emre Can with experience in more top clubs like Liverpool and Mats Hummels, who returned to play with his last years from Bayern. Even the young players now are special. They also fit the definition of underdog, like Jan Madsen. Winter loan became possible only because Chelsea didn't need him, even for rotation. Jadon Sancho is also on loan, and he quarreled with Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United and was sent to the reserves and was not playing even there. Both are no longer just young guys or rising talents on this trajectory. They faced different circumstances and are now motivated by anger and a desire to prove doubters are wrong. The paradox in this Dortmund. They will never be very best, but they regularly manage to be the best in their chosen role. For a while, they were quite rightly called the best springboard in the world. Now they seem to have become the best underdog in the world. They are truly enjoying this role. So many teams wanted to play us. Luckily, we're really good guys, so we made it to the final and give the maximum number of opponents the chance to play against us. That was Mats Hummel's tweet after reaching the final. Their attitude towards Madrid before the final is also indicative. Edin Terzic summed it up. We are facing the main boss. Anything is possible in one match. If anyone has proven this, it's us. Maybe it's time for a real series of 8 final victories to come to an end. It's highly unlikely. Both the pre-match verdict and Borussia favorite face on the way to the final, but let's see what happens.